Some children are missing somewhere tonight, picked up by someone who just had no right. If you are that someone, I think you should know we're watching wherever you go. Balloons and white ribbons all over the place, and posters in windows of a missing child's face are public reminders we're not giving in till they're back with their loved ones again. The lives you have ruined were not yours to take. The hearts you have broken were not yours to break. Is yours just a sickness gone out of control? Or have you no conscience or soul? Just think for a moment about what you've done and how you would feel if a daughter or son you've loved their whole lifetime should just disappear. Imagine the heartbreak and fear. And think how the child feels, so lost and alone, with only a memory of family and home, frightened and helpless. It doesn't seem right. God, I wonder how you sleep at night. I wonder if someone had hurt you one time so badly you lost all respect for mankind. Were you once a victim of someone like you? If you could, would you stop what you do? If you could trade places for only a day and feel what they're feeling, you'd soon learn to pray. If you have some good left, then let it be shown. And please bring the missing child home. The lives you have ruined were not yours to take. The hearts you have broken were not yours to break. Is yours just a sickness gone out of control? Or have you no conscience or soul? Or have you no conscience or soul?
Beautiful song. Okay, woo-saw moment. So I'll just take a breather here. Hey, little Dad, there's Poppy, May, Wee, Deb. Hey, nobody you know. Yes, it is a poignant song. And we're going to go over, I'm going to commentate on Killer Looks' video he just put out. And yes, we prayed for you really hard, Killer. I hope that you're feeling well. He had an accident at work. I have the video of it, but I'm not going to show it. A car came through the building and actually hit him. Very disturbing, to say the least. Now, I have always really enjoyed Killer Looks' videos. He is definitely an educator, I call him, in the Summer Wells case. He did say that we could use the video. He said it in this video. So I am going to show you because he does put out quite a few visuals on it. He's going to be talking about a cast of characters, I will call them. We are going to talk about it. One person I never really spoke a lot about was Frank Light over here. I think we need to have a conversation about Frank Light. When Frank Light comes up in this video, we definitely will have a conversation about Frank Light. I don't know why, and maybe I just missed it. People talking about Frank Light. I do know his sister, AC, was up on my panel quite a few times, had some things to say about Frank. And guess what? We are going to talk about those today. So let's get this started. And yes, I thought this song was very appropriate for this live. I don't know where AC is at. We kind of had a falling out and I quit speaking with her. I don't wish any harm for AC. I know that she was going through a lot of things, but yeah, this isn't about AC though. So you guys are going to hear some things probably that hasn't been said before, but that's why we do this. No, you can't, KK. But I must say that Frank didn't come near you. I would have had to have intervened if he would have, KK. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's get into this. And like I said, he always has really excellent visuals that he puts out. So let's get into it.
And I saw an Iron Gate with Rich Post. I kept getting a funeral home, which is most likely a landmark of sorts. You know, the real weird thing was after I had done a short reading, which I sent over that Carl at Enchanted Icon, and I didn't send him the whole thing. It was just a specific question. I said, I have to draw a line.
Okay, so I do have this going way too fast. Let me bring it back to normal, since he did say it could be shared. And I'm just going to back it up just a little bit, because Reverend Donna is saying that some information that she had visions on or something, that she sent it to Carl of Enchanted Life Path. Yeah. Flies. No, KK would not fall for Frank Light at all. Now, I mean, we can start with Frank Light if you guys want to. Frank Light lives in the holler with his elderly father, I believe. AC seemed to be very close to Frank until some things happened and she reported Frank. Hey, Golden Grace. AC found some SD cards under, I believe it was Frank's bed that he was sleeping in at her house. These were horrific things on pertaining to children on these SD cards. Okay. It was so bad she didn't go into detail exactly what she's seen on these SD cards. Yes, we Nita Diver was going to check a pond and Frank Light was in the vicinity Killer goes over that in the video. So, okay, let's start with the video. I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
It may have been a barn, a shed, or underfloor where there's dirt. I saw two men
Trigger warning.
in some bushy area. Oh, this is a different vision. And they appear to put her maybe in a little box down a ravine underneath what appeared to be a hollow log, but sometimes they keep in a barrel, and I'm wondering about that as well. So you don't really see the one. I wish I had.
Now, see, this confuses me because she had came out, hey, 120. She had came out prior stating that Summer was in a like whiskey barrel. Here she's saying that, and I'll just say trigger warning for the whole freaking live, because anytime we're talking about a child and repeating what maybe some others have said, it's not good, right? Oh, is his channel almost gone, Deb? This is my opinion. That Frank is a freaky freak. Most Franks are freaky freaks, but anywho, that's just my opinion.
The photographs, because I did all this work on maps to show you guys. At least one here. At least one.
That's true. At least we made it. Yes.
Okay, what Killer's showing right now, the visuals, there's a private cemetery. There's Side Botham's property, old Side Botham property. Back to the right, the back right, Side Botham. That where the footprint was allegedly seen. And then to the right is a unfinished cabin. An unfinished cabin.
Okay, so first, so if you're from this, I would say that they.
Okay, this is allegedly the second footprint. I'm calling it the second. It could have been the first. The other one could have been the second. We're not quite so sure.
Temporarily buried her and then moved her. I believe this is intergenerational, and I think, by now everybody kind of knows that. So I talk about that a little bit to the police and things I saw. So in a couple other readings.
Now, this kind of confused me, and I'm sorry I keep stopping it, but I'm commenting on it. Donna says she talked to law enforcement. That is what she just said. But in her newest live, the first one with Fred and Ziggy, she talked about law enforcement not wanting to speak with her, right? No, 120, no. Nobody said Frank prefers little boys. Okay? I think Frank preferred kids in general. Squaw wasn't a little boy. TT wasn't a little boy, right? But what do I know? Mustang Granny, hashtag love us some Granny. All right, I'm going to try not to get feisty today, okay? And if something is your opinion, please put it's your opinion, okay? I know some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. And that's just because you're being a brat. Don't be a brat today. I'm just saying.
I saw a brick building with white columns where Summer was brought to. So she was moved around. Like when this happened, she was moved around a little bit. There is a brick building with white columns. And I saw an iron gate with brick posts. I kept getting a funeral home, which was most likely a landmark of sorts. The real weird thing was after I had done a short reading, which I sent over that Carl at Enchanted Icecast, and I didn't send him the whole thing. It was just a specific question. I said, I have to draw a line where they showed me before I forget. And I did. And then I sent him the screenshot of the specific funeral home. And I said that someone from that church had been fired.
Okay, I do agree. I don't know if anybody else, right? Yeah, I agree, Flies. I agree. Ziggy was making sure everyone knew it was Fred's birthday last night. Oh, you know what, Deb? That's Ziggy. That is Ziggy. I don't know anything about Ziggy's daughter. I'm just not into watching a lot of creators who put their children out there. But so what? It was Fred's birthday. And no, I'm not singing happy birthday to you, Fred. For real. Okay, moving on. Damn, I've been a bitch the last couple days. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I am nice most of the time. But the last couple days, I've really been bitchy. I really have. For real. Well, a lot of things on social media make us all sad. For real. For real. And who the fuck pays $1,500 for a lie detector test where you can only ask 3 questions? That's kind of crazy if you ask me.
There, but that I saw 3 men actively participating in what felt
Good
like
morning.
I don't know if you're even allowed to say
Yeah, just cryptically say it if you can.
SU film.
Right.
In which the reading I saw, they would have kept her around for a while, but had to do a standard dozier, Dozier, combined with the fact that I saw one man in costume plunge. And there is that likely explains it. Other possible urban slang dictionary was, quote, to overdose on medication or to make a slave. So in the end, hopefully they made a pretend movie or something. I always hope until the end. Always hope. Just because I say it doesn't mean it's, this is my vision.
Right.
What happened in my vision. It's all very theatrical. I mean, and the spirits show you everything for a reason. So a lot of people have took that up and ran with it. And it did look very theatrical. They were filming it, and the person doing the main things was wearing a costume.
Now, if that transpired, would it be on the dark web? Absolutely. It would be on the dark web somewhere, right? I believe it was on our panel, though, when I first seen you around. Oh, you talking to KK? Oh, okay.
And what I said, he just did to her. I saw that they were filming this. Okay, so then I talked about the aquarium. Some people think that was Aquarium at Bays Mountain Park. It sounds more like the aquarium in Gatlinburg. So essentially, somebody was following them around in Gatlinburg, looking at Summer, right? And I told this.
No, you're fine,
I contacted
Grace.
John Wells. I told them that, and he had told me right a couple days, that weekend right prior to Summer's disappearance, Candace was running all over Kingsport.
Okay, so we know Candace was in Gatlinburg. Now, Reverend Donna talks about someone seeing someone watching Summer, perhaps to buy her, which is that's odd to me, because that would have, if that was the case, that would have been someone who knew that they were in Gatlinburg that weekend, right? That would have been somebody who would have known that they were taking Summer to Gatlinburg that weekend. If he was keeping an eye out, right?
Apparently that same day, she also took the kids a few miles over by, when I was saying in that first reading, everything that's up is upside down and all this kind of stuff. That's Wonderworks. And so for me, what that does is it would give a date where if too much time hadn't gone by, the LA should be looking at all their surveillance to see a man that didn't interact with them really, but stayed about 20 feet away or so and was kind of following them around. It felt to me like this was a showing, like he was going to see the kid in person, see if he wanted to pay for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. Okay, so Wonderworks is an upside down building, and it's on Candace's TikTok videos. It's an upside down building it's a tourist thing. And I said John Bonet's coming in. Well, they had a John Bonet display at Wonderworks. So at least at the time. So
That was
what
crazy.
that did for me personally was confirm that it's very likely the rest of my reading is accurate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Mustang Granny. I appreciate that so much. I really do. It really helps. It really does. Thank you so much. So, look, it's easy to describe Gatlinburg, right? Yes, I agree, Flies. That would describe half the tourists of Gatlinburg. And don't forget, not that it means anything, but Ernie was in the area that weekend too. I'm not saying Ernie did anything, but he was there taping for the Predator Hunter Nation stuff. Hey, the mouse, good to see you, darling. Okay. I don't know that I've ever seen any pictures of David Dodson. Oh, you're talking about the carnival photo. Well, at first they were saying the carnival photo, people thought it was Frank Light. But then they talked about it being the other guy, White, right? Okay, Deb. All right. What are they telling? Tell me about it. About them being substance abusers? About how shady they are? Why are they doing that? Right? I was there also on my way home. The amber went out. I remember it was yesterday. I was just getting on I-40 in Knoxville. But Deb. Can I say this? I'm not going to say it. So let's stop this live and let's be concerned with two individuals who befriended the Wells like they were all best motherfucking buddies. And now they want to team up and take a poke them in the ass. And I shouldn't, look, I like White Boy. I like Benny. I don't have anything against either one of them. But do you see what I'm saying? Right? You see what I'm saying? And I probably could have said it nicer. I told you guys, for some reason, I have been a big bitch lately. Oh, you didn't, Deb. You didn't. Oh, I just don't like to talk about other creators over here that much. For real. But, I mean, for fact, this is fact. They befriended the Wells. They befriended the Wells. And now, what are you getting a yardstick on me for? I didn't do anything. All right. It's all my fault. Okay, get back to it. I'm getting back to it. Hang on, I keep hitting the wrong fucking button. I keep muting my damn self. Okay, here we go.
Then I saw Carousel, and at that time, so then I was much to my surprise, go after the reading, I go on to there and look up Carousel in Hawkins County, Tennessee, and there's a Carousel in Kingsport. So
okay, so here he says allegedly Dell's wife worked or volunteered at the Kingsport Carousel. This is allegedly. That's a big word right there, allegedly. She is also the one who reported the footprint on their land. She left Dale in July of 2021. I truly think that there are a lot of people involved with Summer going missing. So, oh, you're fine, Golden Grace. Y'all know I love y'all. Okay, just getting a little feisty. I will tone it down. I will have a piece of candy. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't have any candy today. I will woo-saw. Okay. Hey, grieving mama. Okay, here we go.
The place where some sort of transaction took place, some sort of interaction. And as you can see in the 12th minute, I did see the mother, but I didn't see the father.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
There is.
Everybody's a suspect.
We keep overthinking stuff. We keep overthinking a lot of things.
I'm Killer.
Hey, Killer, good to see
Process
ya.
data together. We do our best to work through moving, changing situations, theories. Before I get started, let me throw this video from the Killer Lewis channel. Open the loop.
Search. That's right. Earlier tonight, around 7 o'clock, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says this 4-year-old little girl named Summer Wells, and maybe we can show you the photo of her again here in just a moment. She was last seen walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road, and that was the last she was seen.
Okay, so footprints. Okay, if you go out on Ben Hill Road and you go west, so you go past our property all the way to the end, and you get down a little ways west up this way, there's a dirt road. I can't remember the name of the road, but you turn left into that and you see a bunch of no trespassing signs and all that. You follow the dirt road and it takes you all the way up on top of that hill up there, which overlooks our property. When you're up there, you can look down on our property and see our house. You're looking down on our house, and we live on a hill, so it's a pretty high hill. So there's an unfinished cabin up there. This is the way GBI explained it to me. There's an unfinished cabin up there, and it rained like 2 or 3 days before Summer went missing. So they found a footprint around the unfinished cabin. And I went up there and I looked everywhere.
Okay, it did rain a few days before Summer went missing, right? The only thing with the footprints that I could never understand was why was there only one at each location? One at each location. We do know that Dave Radar from EquiSearch spoke about the possibility that Summer had been moved. It's not hard to do in an area like Beach Creek. Grass, a bunch of people are involved. Not necessarily 120 acres. Hey, D Designs, good to see you. Not necessarily. A large group of people many times can keep a secret. You feel like there's about 3?
Well, they're talking about unfinished cabin. I found a trailer. I found 2 trailers, and the other property I was kind of scared to go up around, but I looked everywhere.
We are told that police have blocked off roadways in that area in order for them to do a comprehensive search.
That's right.
Okay, so they blocked off areas to do a comprehensive search. The issue in an area like this is there are many, many back roads, many trails, riding trails, horseback riding trails, that people don't know about. People just don't know about. Except for Fred Hill, Andy Bernard, and others who grew up in that area.
Earlier tonight, around 7 o'clock, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says this 4-year-old little girl named Summer Wells, she was last seen walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road. And that was the last she was seen. Earlier tonight, around 7 o'clock, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson says this 4-year-old little girl named Summer Wells, she was last seen walking away from her home on Ben Hill Road.
Okay. We know, hey, Mads, we know that whoever reported Summer missing obviously said she was 4 years old. That's the way we take that, right? They've never released the actual 911 calls. Only the dispatch call. Could that have been a dispatch oversight? I don't know. Could that have meant that someone else besides Dawn and Candace called 911? Yeah, it could have meant that.
All right, my people. Ken, taking them notes. God, I might better help you, man. You talk about.
Okay. He says there are 3 different points around the Wells property that are often confused with one another. They're all separate points, and none of them are in the same location.
Another set of footprints, the unfinished cabin up on a hill, on top of the hill, watching your hill.
And obviously, Don says that law enforcement spoke to him about the unfinished cabin.
I don't know if I found what you're talking about. But we're definitely looking at some unfinished cabin.
Let's talk about the campsite. Cam and Allie, I believe it was Cam, went up and videoed this campsite that they found. That you could see the Wells property from that campsite. If people lived in the area for more than a few months, they would know about the trails in the area. If they got out and actually used the property, I mean, Candace says she didn't even go out around her property, is what she said, right?
Up on the hill, off the dirt trail, looking up on your hill.
Hey, Miss Gray. This is while they were looking for Summer. The helicopters. This was the night of June 19th. June 19th. 4 days after.
You know, then there was,
Thank you,
there was
Flies.
the thought that on that Saturday night that I got into town, which would have been 4 days prior after she went missing, is that somebody said that they found a footprint. Now, I don't know the truth about that, but they had TBI, FBI, they had some of the locals there late at night. I got into town about 11 o'clock, and they were still searching until about 2 o'clock in the morning from what I.
It rained a couple days before, right? If it was 4 days after Summer went missing, it doesn't necessarily mean that, would that mean that they had to have been made after the day of her going missing? Or were they put there a couple days later? Does that make sense? Let me say this about the dog trail, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. I really don't. This is my memory. It could, I'll say allegedly, just in case. Don claimed he didn't know about the dog trail, but yet Jody claimed that she was the one that was keeping Don posted on what was going on. Am I wrong about that? If I am, please remind me that I'm wrong about that. Right?
Understand, because they went under the assumption is that, oh hell, maybe if she was abducted, they're seeing all of this go down. They dropped her back off near the woods, and that she was now walking the woods by herself. So then they said,
okay, so I'm gonna take the closed captions off because it's making it hard to see things. Someone said, I heard search dogs were all over the place. Neighbor said her scent was found in his yard and woods next to him. That was from the neighbor's mouth. Whoever this was said, yes, a barefoot child's footprints. The dogs identified her scent in my woods and a neighbor's woods. No other scent or footprint were found. Just my opinion with it, nothing else to base it on. Sounds like she was being carried, was set down to make it through the rough area. You would expect more prints if she was walking. Search crew had been all over my land for several days before the footprint was found, so there was plenty of adult footprints in there. Listen to this. Search crews had been all over my land for several days before the footprint was found. Now, who would have taken Summer and then brought her back and dropped her off? Who would have done that if they knew law enforcement was all over that area? Acts as a child, so Hunter and other kids was out running around. No, I truly don't believe Candace did much of anything at 110 Ben Hill Road. Jose had to clean up the property. Jose was the one up there cleaning up the property. The grass hadn't been mowed. He basically turned into a house husband kind of while he was there, right? Yeah, I will say this again, and I say this a lot. There's no way that a little 5-year-old girl is going to be walking around in the woods in the dark. Story of having FAS, wish I could find that was talked about in the beginning. FAS. Okay, I guess I'm being a ding-ding. Let me figure out what FAS is. I don't know. Oh, fetal alcohol syndrome. Thank you. I thought that's what you were talking about.
Up this good perimeter around there and just kind of worked our way more towards the house to create that funnel effect. And we followed creeks. But there wasn't a damn.
And I'm going to repeat this again. If there was an individual at Gatlinburg scoping out Summer allegedly to see if they wanted to pay money for her, who knew? Who knew that? Who knew they were going to Gatlinburg? I hope that makes sense. Who would have known that Little Summer Wells was for sale? Who would have known that?
Stone unturned.
You don't need a body to be a light to this world. He wants us to be a city that's set up on a hill. It cannot be hid. You have to have bodies if you're going to have a city on a hill that cannot be hid.
Ba boom, mic drop. This is at the Mount Carmel Church, Sunday, June 12th.
Dust can betray you. Dust can do horrible things.
Look at the name, Brother Wendell Sidebotham.
To you, dust can be horrific upon the face of this earth, do unimaginable things. It can be sinful, it can be all those things, but yes, dust can also stretch out its arms on an old rugged cross and bear my sins and my price for my sin. Dust can spill blood that washes me from my unrighteousness.
What is up? And excuse my French, because I'm getting ready to drop the F-bomb, because y'all know I can't really have a conversation without dropping the F-bomb. What is up with all these fucking religions acting like no matter what the sin is, if you repent to Jesus, then you're good. You're good with doing horrible things to children. You're good with unaliving individuals. You are just good to go. You're near that church today? Wow. Well, that is the brother that was preaching there, Beverly. This is the thing also. Allegedly, when Candace went to look for Summer, besides going to Fred Hills, they said she went up into the holler. She went up into the holler. But Summer never left and went anywhere. Was it just a mother trying to find her daughter, didn't know where to go? She was just going to go everywhere, right? Now he's showing us side by side. That's the Wells house on the right. And he's showing us side by side on the left-hand side. He was looking up that land, and it was done by... I don't know. Yeah. This is just me and this is just my opinion. How Dawn acquired 110 Ben Hill Road, to me, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. That was years and years ago, when he acquired that land. So, I think she went there prior, church. Coming onto Simpson Road. Okay, hold on, you guys. I do want to, okay, never mind. Hey, Steven. And Summer being 5 years old, if she walked off, why would she go through the woods? Why would she go through the woods? If she just walked off, why would a little 5-year-old girl leave the road to go through the woods, to go through fields? If Summer hadn't been out and about in that area, how would Summer put herself in some of these areas? Does that make sense to anybody? Okay, wait, I've got to go in and take care of this real quick. I want to make sure I don't have this monetized. Hold on. Even though I'm commenting on it, I had it on. Let me take that off. Okay, sorry. Okay, I got it. But look at the area. He had a lot of music playing in the background, okay? That someone, gosh, I don't want to say this. How do I say this? We don't know if Summer was alive when those footprints were put in those areas. Anybody ever think about that? We don't know if she was alive when those footprints were put in those areas. Because they weren't put there. Searchers had been all over those areas, right? Say trigger warning. All these pedos in that fucking area knew of each other. I could place money on it. They all knew of each other. I can guarantee you that old Shurfy Jr. knew Frank Light. I can guarantee you the other RSOs in the area. And of course, this is a commentary channel and I give my opinion. I think they all knew each other. They all knew each other. And what AC says she found on those SD cards that belonged to her brother Frank Light were very disturbing images. Very disturbing images. He's the one that got locked up. Which one?
Look, the last thing I use is a know-it-all. And nobody knows it all. I know
Nobody
just as
knows
much
all
as
this,
y'all,
right?
and then it processes in my brain, and I come back to y'all and see what y'all process. And it'd be hard to like believe she's not passing. Nobody thinks she's passing. I know something different. Man, you know, y'all right. Y'all try to find some footage besides Don up there on Chimney Top Trail. No, one time, not like known footage. I can look too, but like grassy paths and hidden up there. You're not gonna find that unless you got somebody like Miss Laura that, man, I ain't gonna lie, she pulled right into people's driveway. I don't know if Boss Lady was lost, but man, some of y'all left in comments, man, she got some cojones. Man, she
That's the whole thing about it. Okay. Hey, Terry Southern Girl. Yes, they did. Now, Squall doesn't have stuff up on her channel anymore that I remember. I haven't looked for a long time to see if anything new's up there or what. She said things that happened with her with Frank Light. TT come out and said things that happened with her with Frank Light. Those SD cards that AC stood out always just stayed with me. If okay, so she pulled into people's driveways. Did she get out and knock on the door and say, I'm a YouTuber and I'm from a different state and I'm just coming here to ask everybody questions? You wanna say she's brave? There's a lot of people who were brave that went to the area and did a lot of things. Okay, so what? So what? What's that got to do with anything?
drove up to some of the spots Don said he is done.
They ran Dawn off from those areas. They didn't want Dawn anywhere around those areas, right? Very disturbing pictures, Granny. Very disturbing pictures. We're talking about pictures of children. It was even mentioned barbed wire fencing. Barbed wire fencing. Right? Well, nobody you know. Perplexed. Nobody you know says you're the girl. You're a brave girl, Perplexed. Okay. All right.
See, nothing else but it's done.
And I saw an iron gate with brick post. I kept getting a funeral home, which is most likely a landmark of sorts. No, they just, it might have been a landmark to drive through. I mean, see,
Okay.
that it was definitely, I mean, it was weird. It was,
Okay, so we're talking about the funeral home. David Dotson actually worked at a funeral home, said that he had to quit working because of his, I think he said he had Crohn's disease, right? Yeah, Mustang Granny. Frank Light's sister found an SD card with horrific images of children in horrific poses. Now, I'm sorry, and I've really never talked about this before, but you're not going to tell me that a man like that is going to ever fucking change. And if he did, they need to study him so they can figure out how to get other fucking people like that to change. I'm just saying, my opinion, allegedly, however you want to take it.
weird,
Yeah.
and I saw an iron gate with brick posts. I kept getting a funeral home, which is most likely a landmark of sorts. It might have been a landmark to drive through. I mean, see,
Okay.
that it was definitely, I mean, it was weird.
I had a dream. There was thousands, 100,000, a million of us standing at that gate. I don't know why. We were just standing at the gate, strong, all lined up, just staring at that gate.
What is it about the gate? Is that the gate that Andy allegedly went to, right? Is that the gate Andy originally went to? I don't know. Hey, that girl. And yes, I'm very feisty today, so you know what? Nobody you know. You are nobody I know. Hey, Exploited. Fields Road Gate. Now, let me ask you guys this. Was that the area? Okay, Jody said they searched around that area, right? Isn't that what she said, her and Andy? How the fuck is Andy and Jody sitting in a car together when Summer goes missing? Everything seems to be good in the hood. And then very quickly, he leaves Jody and goes and marries a woman who has children of her own, but it's claimed by Jody that Andy doesn't want anything to do with his own kids. And let's put it like this. If somebody in that area, there were allegedly 2 little girls in that area that lived there at the time Summer went missing. Summer and Jody's daughter. Right? Right? So if scallywags from that area allegedly were going to take a child, would they take one from a family who they felt wasn't part of the area? Don't forget, Andy's related to everybody. Andy and his family, they're all freaking related. So which one would they take? I'm just picking on you, nobody you know. You are somebody. You are somebody. I am sorry. I'm being a bitch. And yeah, KK, you can come up, darling, if you want. Always a pleasure, darling. I don't care who comes up. This really does need to be an open conversation. It does. All right. I've been on here 1 hour. Give me just 2 minutes, you guys. Give me 2 seconds. I have got to go heat my coffee up. Okay. Hey, Dollface. Okay, listen to this.
Hey, can you hear
If,
me?
yeah, I hear you, babe.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I'm gonna mute. I gotta go potty, but I'm here.
Okay, sweetie. Okay, listen to it like this. Jody never left her children alone by themselves, right? Candace allegedly let her kids do what? If you were going to scope out a child or take a child, wouldn't you take it from the mother that it was easier to take the child from? Maybe it was premeditated and they knew. Maybe the person knew they had went to Gatlinburg, and maybe the person knew that day that Candace was going to leave that hill twice. Allegedly, she went to a gas station. Maybe she was there that long because someone was supposed to meet her there. Is this making any sense? Or am I just talking out my butt? Inquiring minds want to know.
From the other side of that gate. That's why I need your help.
Helped with the search efforts yesterday. We're told about 2,400 acres has been searched since last Tuesday night.
They say 120 acres.
Yeah.
We got 120 in chat. I love it.
They searched for Summer everywhere. Everywhere. And like I said, I don't want to get graphic because y'all know what I'm saying when I say this. We don't know because allegedly the footprints were found days later. And we're talking about one footprint in 2 different places. One.
Okay, when Summer first went missing, how long did it take for us to find out about it? Because I know it wasn't exactly when she went missing, was it? Like, when did we get a hold of it? Like, you know?
I think a lot of people learned about it when they set the Amber Alert out. But there were people that knew about it before that.
Because I know, like, Tiffany Marie was the first person that I heard talk about it.
Well, Jody Sue was putting it out on Facebook. So, Jody, in my opinion, Jody kind of led the pack, putting it out on Facebook. Everybody in the area was talking about it, and things like that. So
There's 120. She said, wow, not my 120 acres.
wonder if this was watch the left hand, never mind what the right is doing. That's a good observation for sure.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yep. Smoke and mirrors for sure. Okay.
Okay, I'm kind of dumb to some of this missing child stuff. Like when kids go missing and they do the Amber Alert, do they always send out such a huge police investigation, like searching and stuff? Do they do that with every single child? Because some of these seem like they look more than other cases to me.
Well, I think the reason why you probably see that is because some Amber Alerts, they already know who possibly took the children. They know the vehicle. They already have all that information. So some Amber Alert cases, absolutely, they already have information and possibly who they're looking at.
Right. And for an Amber Alert, it has to be like a kidnapping or abduction or something. It's not just like something foul play happened, right?
Right.
If they suspected foul play, they wouldn't have sent out an Amber Alert.
Oh, no, they would have. Yeah. No,
Okay.
they would have. They would have. And with Summer, I think the area, and as much as they had been looking, someone reported the red truck being in the area. And they kept saying from the beginning about the red truck, the person wasn't a suspect. They just wanted to know possibly what they had seen when they were in the area. So they were just wanting to question whoever possibly was in this red truck.
Okay. Was the milk jug picture in the Subaru? Was that the Subaru?
No, that was Grandma's truck.
It was red, wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
No, Grandma's truck wasn't red.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because I always thought it was a Subaru. There's some stuff I can't remember, and I'm trying to.
Right. No, Grandma's truck. No, I think hers was. I'd have to pull it up and look, but.
And they never identified the red truck properly. No. Okay.
No. All right, here we go. Okay. We're gonna pay attention to the mailboxes. Okay, wait.
This Killer Looks video?
Yeah.
He's amazing at this stuff.
Okay, so we've got the mailbox here, and then over here's another mailbox, I'm assuming. Okay, let's see where he's going with this. Real dog trail, he says.
Man, them hollers like that in the wintertime look creepy as hell.
So, was that also a dog trail? There were probably quite a few different trails going down the hill on the Wells property.
Down in them mountains and stuff like that, there's trails that people really don't even know about. They could have been trails from 30 years ago too, or
right.
You know what I mean? There's so many trails in the woods and these hollers and stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm the type of person, if I moved to an area and bought a home, I would be all over my property.
Yeah,
but
checking it out.
Even in the years that Dawn and Candace lived on that hill, I don't think either one of them really gave a shit what was on their land or not. But that's just me. I don't know, right?
The kids probably knew it better than they did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Little Dev, I agree.
All right, here we go. That's interesting. Summer's dogs could be seen in that area after her disappearance and often. So, did Summer go down another little trail and come out to the road? This is what gets me. And I know people want to say she's barefooted. And I know
But how do they
that
know she's barefooted if they
they-
didn't see her leave?
I don't think they do, because even Leslie Earhart says possibly. So
I don't believe she was on a trail. I don't. That's just
I
they would have
don't-
found something. I mean,
and
something.
look, I know that people go barefooted, and yeah, you can become accustomed to being barefooted. But I don't see her walking all that terrain without no shoes on.
Agree.
I do not see Summer being in the woods after dark without them finding her.
Or her yelling or something, like
Exactly.
it's just a trauma response for anybody. If you get lost, you freak out. And
Girl, in the middle of the woods, pitch black.
but I could see her barefooted in the woods because when I was little, and probably a lot of people, I could run on gravel. Now I walk like a newborn calf. But when you're little like that and you grow up in the country, you're used to the terrain on your feet, and your feet get tough to it.
Right.
But how do they know for a fact she was barefooted if they didn't see her,
Right. And also, it was stated that there were shoes all over the hill because the kids would just go out and throw their shoes off. So there were kids' shoes on the hill from where they would just go out and throw their shoes off and stuff.
C-120
Oh.
said that their land is much larger than Dawn's, and they know their property, not a trail anywhere that they are aware of, and they know what type of animals is on their property. That's usually how landowners are. They know what's going on their land like that.
Well, not necessarily if you're a substance abuser. I mean, maybe.
How long did they have that land on 110?
Josie was little.
Oh, so he's had it a while, Don has.
Yeah, he's had the property.
He
for
should
a
know
while.
that land, though. He
And-
should. As a
and,
man,
it's supposed to be around 11.5 acres of property, right? Okay.
right, little
let's-
Deb, I went barefooted too. I can't now, and yeah, Sandy, the newborn calf. That's how I am walking on gravel barefooted.
Hey, Sandy. Okay.
And killers videos.
Why do I keep getting muted? He just showed that the one of the drives they had blocked was the sod buttons. Oh, I said that wrong. What is their name? Hold on.
And killers videos. Y'all gotta stop that shit. Even in the loop, y'all gotta stop that shit. Might be some Easter eggs or something, even killer miss. You know what I'm saying? Till we knew about all this, and Don recently said like unfinished cab and dirt roads that you can't even see. I'm not even talking about route roads. I'm talking about like a grassy patch that get you somewhere.
Look at this area. And we're talking about a 5-year-old little girl. He's done a good job. He always does a good job.
He does. And he's never
Okay.
gave up on Summer. He's never grifted, and
So here's the unfinished cabin. And there is the scent footprint. This is one of the side buttons right here. Mary Sexton's, Sexton property. The deer blind was here. Dishner, Tim Smith, Jody. There was another scent. Jody Sue's feet. Now, look, this is the thing with Jody. I don't understand why she told people that the dog stopped at her feet. She also said she got in the creek to wash off the scent, not to confuse the dogs. That made no sense to me.
that don't make sense.
I don't know why she ever said that.
So she was
Um,
washing away summer scent or something like.
that was weird to me that she even said that. So all around this area is side bottom property. Let me see. Up here is a I don't know what that said. Chambers and Bernard. There's the wells right here. Over Bay property all through here. Recently sold to Browns from the Sin Bothams. So this property had just recently been sold to the Bernards. No, I'm sorry. The Browns. Yeah, the Browns. And then here's a private cemetery. And then up here in the left is also side bottom property. Now, what happens in these areas is the families, they will set up homes and campers on their property. So you may look at a property and 4 or 5 family members be living on it in their own dwellings. When you own a shitload of property, it's very easy to have your family come and live on that property. For sure. For sure. Okay, here we go. Okay. Over an acre in the country near Fall Branch, but in Hawkins County, property has 2 mobile homes on it. One is single wide in below average condition, possibly fixable. The other is of no value. There is a deeded right-of-way into the property that is shared with access to a small cemetery in one corner. It is not known if this access is ever used. Property had a survey done. It's being sold as is. No guarantees, either written or implied. The buyer agent should verify all information. Use caution when inspecting the trailer. It is in poor condition. Like I said, a lot of property in these areas might be owned by a specific family, but there's all kinds of houses, there's all kinds of trailers, there's all kinds of sheds that aren't used anymore. They're dilapidated. They had big shoes to fill when they were searching for summer.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in them woods and properties, and I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they could have took her one place and then moved her to another, or there's just so many scenarios. It's
right. A private drive, a logging road leading into the cemetery. June 2nd. Okay, well, Elizabeth Sidebotham at that time had been to Warriors Riding Stables. She took her daughter there. They had a great time. That was on June 2nd, 2021. That's freaking weird. What is that? Why would you? Okay. All right, moving on. What? Oh, a depiction of Christ's back according. Wow. Okay. We're going to move on from this.
I'm going to jump down for a second. I'll be back.
All right, babe. Why did he want a. Let me see. June 16th. This is on Dale Soderbottom's Facebook. Does anyone among my friends have an old disc notcher for a 5 1/4 floppies that he or she isn't using anymore? I'm having trouble finding one for a sane price. Yeah, remember the old floppy disk? Kind of crazy, right? There's too many characters in this case. Don't forget, at the church it showed the other side bottom leading the church. Are they in some kind of a weird ass religion? Oh my God. What's this say? But look here, old chap, you can't reveal the murderer until one of us has actually been red-rimmed. I mean, it just won't do. It's against the rules. Wait. Did this dude have kids? Do you guys remember? I remember one of the psychics talking about it, that they felt like someone was hiding Summer, like in an area under their house. I can't remember who said it. Wow. That's pretty crazy. We'll go back and look at those again here soon. Okay, there's the wells. This is all. Okay. So what he just showed was, hang on. Oh, I need to find it. Come back to me. Okay, so there is one of the footprints, an unfinished cabin. Denzel Sidebotham lives right there. Right there. A
million of us standing on the other side of that gate. My brain worked that way. I don't know why. I need y'all feedback.
He needs our feedback. We'll give you feedback, babe. I want to get where JLR's talking to Brandon. Brandon's talking about 3 blinds. He says they're hunting blinds, okay? This is where they talk about Frank Light.
They come up to the end of the road, and here's this church.
This is Scott H.
And then
talking,
there's
I
an
think.
old building there, which I know the man's name, but I'm not going to put it out there.
That was Glenda's, my stepmom's property. Her brothers were for place, and there's 3 of them on this property. They gave them to him, and he took them.
Who's he?
Archie, yeah.
Because we're wondering if he's the guy that gave Frank the alibi, because when Nita Diver got up there, Frank Light came out of that trailer that was sitting up behind the church, drunk, raising hell, telling them to all fuck off and get the fuck out of there.
Okay. So Anita Diver goes to search one of the ponds. He says Frank White was intoxicated, came out, started cussing him, telling him to get out of there. Supposedly Frank was doing yard work at the church or something like that. You know, I think when a lot of people think about Frank Light, they think about him only staying in like the area where the family owns the property. Okay. I think some people's mind just goes to that. Right? Frank rode horses. His brother has horses. Actually, as Brandon and JLR are walking, if I remember correctly, AC was talking about that her brother lived in a home that they walked in front of.
And Nita Diver called Cam and was like, hell, you didn't tell me fucking Frank Light was going to be up here. So what we're figuring is that guy.
Okay, look at this. Right here, allegedly, was a scent hit. And right there's Fred's.
That Frank was up there getting drunk with, right up the road from where Frank's.
Okay, you guys see that? And I'm sorry, I do have the closed captions on for some people. So we've got Jody Sue and Andy's. The scent hit here about halfway between Jody Sue and Fred.
Supposed to be if he was up there getting drunk with that guy, and that guy is the one that gave Frank the alibi for cleaning out a fence row behind this church where his trailer is. Because wouldn't that just be convenient for a drinking buddy to give you an alibi?
Also, and I think they show it in this, there's like benches set up like in the middle of nowhere, right? Yeah, many people do have horses, Appy. You're right. Many people have horses.
Damn, killer. It's so good.
Summer Wells was just 5 years old when she vanished from her home in rural Hawkins County, Tennessee on June 15th, 2021. Her family said she was last seen at home before she just disappeared. That was the story. But as investigators and true seekers began to dig deeper, they found themselves in a web of odd behavior, conflicting stories, and an overwhelming number of people connected to the case who were all somehow intertwined.
Why? They're all intertwined. Most of them are related, except for the Wells. The Wells were not related to any of them. None of them.
To understand this case, you have to understand the people around
Hey,
it.
Lisa.
Don Wells, Summer's father, is the most suspicious character of all in this case.
He is.
He said he was at work the day she disappeared, but
did.
everyone around the Wells says he was at home.
They do.
Candace Bly, Summer's mother, was the last known adult with her.
And let me ask you guys this. If someone was going to take a child, I would think that they're going to take a child whose parents are addicted, whose parents are intoxicated all the time, whose parents really don't pay their children any mind because they're too busy partying it up. Could it have been somebody who went to 110 Ben Hill Road and knew what kind of people Don and Candace were?
Her friend Marlena was allegedly present the same day and is reported to have let her daughter stay multiple nights with Summer at her home just days before she went missing. Hunter, a teenage boy who was with them earlier that day, gave an unsettling interview recounting strange events. His mother, Allie, who is no longer living, another old friend of Candace's, said Hunter was never the same after he returned home from his trip with Candace and Summer that day. Then there's Jody Sue Brown, a neighbor who was on Ben Hill Road the day Summer disappeared, who seems to control and monitor a lot of the online activity. Andy Bernard, Jody's ex, made public statements pointing fingers and denying his presence on Ben Hill Road that day.
Excuse me.
Fred Hill, the Daily Voice on YouTube, with inside knowledge and bold accusations. These are just a few names among at least 20 who were close to the Wells family or to the scene, neighbors, friends, or people otherwise involved in Summer's life. These individuals aren't strangers. Many of
Could Candace had left the hill to go meet someone that didn't show up, who knew she was going to be gone? Possibly. Possibly.
them are neighbors. Many of them knew each other long before Summer vanished. The reality in the Summer Wells case is straightforward. Whatever happened to her, the individual responsible remains unidentified and at large. Alongside her disappearance, a series of deaths emerged, events that appear in multiple instances to intersect with the people, locations, and rumors circulating in the case. It begins when Summer was reported missing from Ben Hill Road. The Ben Hill Holler was shut down, but the holler doesn't stop for no one. The next morning, Punkin Taylor was found deceased in a neighboring town. Punkin was the cousin of Ricky Jr. and Marlena. Local accounts suggest a personal entanglement. The mother of Punkin's children had reportedly been involved with both cousins, later settling with Ricky Jr. At that time, Ricky Jr. was said...
And that's common. That is very common for, and how do I say this? Because I don't want to make this sound bad. But in areas like that, everybody knows each other. And there are family who someone may be married to somebody, they might get a divorce, and the people go and end up being with someone else in the family. That is a factual statement. It's not a weird thing for that to happen in some of those areas.
To be living at the far end of Light Hollow's Dead End Road, adjacent to Ben Hill, an area familiar to many but seldom connected to the larger picture.
Now, some people even thought that possibly someone may have believed that Summer was Marlena's child. I'm not going to put that out there as factual. I do not know. And yes, Marlena and Candace were friends, and I just wonder if Don and Candace did not know that this was going to happen, maybe one of them thought that they talked to an individual and they were like, okay, cool. And they ended up taking Summer anyway. And that's when they freaked out. But that is really stretching. That is really stretching.
Until now. Light Hollow is the next hollow over from Ben Hill.
Super
and
sensible.
As you
Hey,
will
babe.
come to learn shortly, is very important to the Summer Wells case.
So Anita Diver goes out there to go search this pond, and they come up to the end of the road, and here's this church. And then there's an old building there, which I know the man's name, but I'm not going to put it out there.
That was Glenda's, my stepmom's property. Her brothers were for a place, and there's 3 of them on this property. They gave them to him, and he took them.
Who's he?
Archie. Yeah.
Because we're wondering if he's the guy that gave Frank the alibi, because when Nita Diver got up there, Frank Light came out of that trailer that was sitting up behind the church, drunk, raising hell, telling them to all fuck off and get the fuck out of there. And Nita Diver called Cam and was like, hell, you didn't tell me fucking Frank Light was going to be up here. So
Why would Frank Light be raising hell with anybody? Why would anybody tell somebody to get away from a church? Do you believe that law enforcement questioned Frank? I'm sure they would have had to have, right? Because guess what? With what we found out about Frank Light, and I have to say allegedly, even though his sister told us about him, I would think that would have been one of the first places law enforcement went. Now, it was very weird to me, and I have to say allegedly, but I was being told by AC herself that law enforcement was calling and questioning her. Okay? Now, if I remember correctly, it was over individuals who lived in the area that she had known of that were not good guys. Okay? Were not good guys. Also, it was stated that she was shunned from the family, basically. I can't remember exactly what for. I heard different things and stuff. But anyhow, from my understanding, the family, especially her dad, wasn't very happy about her turning in Frank. Some even tried to say that she set Frank up. I don't think that. I think that she did turn her brother in. She even talked about, she said it on my channel, that at one point, a few days before, she finds the SD card under Frank's bed. She was doing laundry. I don't remember the actual factual about it, but he sat on the end of her couch while she was sitting on her couch and was pleasuring himself to something he was watching, I guess, on a laptop. And after that, a few days later, is when she finds the SD card and calls law enforcement and turns him in. Now, it was weird to me why it took them a year to actually arrest him. A year. knowing what he had on those SD cards, law enforcement let him go and waited a year. Could they have done that to maybe try to set up other individuals? I don't know. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a convicted RSO, Appy, so I'm sure that they did talk to Fred. But that doesn't mean, I mean, they're talking about Fred possibly getting an alibi for somebody that he was drinking with. So what does that tell you, people? That they're afternoon drinkers. Okay? Summer went missing anywhere from 3:30 to when law enforcement got there. You knew she was gone at 6:23, I think, the first phone call.
What we're figuring is that guy that Frank was up there getting drunk with, right up the road from where Frank's supposed to be, if he was up there getting drunk with that guy, and that guy is the one that gave Frank the alibi for cleaning out a fence row behind this church where his trailer is. Because wouldn't that just be convenient for a drinking buddy to give you an alibi?
Yeah, very convenient. And the thing about it is, why would Frank care about anybody being in that area? Why would he care?
Here recently, Marlena publicly responded to statements made by Andy B., who had alleged that Summer was buried in Morrison Cemetery. Marlena countered with her own claims that Andy knew more than he had revealed, and that Chad Arnold, her sister's husband and a gravedigger at that same cemetery, was directly connected to events surrounding Summer's disappearance.
Okay. Chad Arnold ain't come out and said anything. He popped in over here super sensible. I always did like Scott. Does Andy know more than what he's saying? It just seemed like every time Andy come out to say something, Jody was like, "You're a pussy. Why are you saying that? You're a chicken. You ain't got no balls."
How did he know that that person or whoever was at the graveyard and that truck and all that? They were all together as a clan.
Exactly.
Him, Roy, him and Fred Hill and Cotton and Chad Arnold and all of them was together on the same exact fucking day. Now come on.
Okay. I don't think Marlena's lying. I do not think freaking Marlena's lying. I really don't. I know a lot of people were like, oh, she was addicted or whatever. But why? What? She didn't have any reason to lie. She didn't have any reason to lie. I do know people stretch things when it comes to money, absolutely. But, I don't know.
Don't sit here and tell me that Andy doesn't know something. Andy knows something. So does his wife. So does Candace. So does Dawn. So does Chad. So does Cotton did. That's why Cotton lost his wife.
Chad is the man who, at the same time Summer went missing, arrived at Fred's property on Ben Hill and saw Candace walking down Fred's driveway. Fred was not home, and
Chad Arnold just happened to be driving down the road and seen Candace walking down Fred's driveway. He just happened to be there, right? Fred allegedly wasn't home. But he stops to talk to Candace.
according to accounts, This was the only recorded time Candace visited his property. Shortly after, she was seen heading toward the back of Light Hollow in the search for Summer, which is ironically located directly behind Fred's place.
You can cross this mountain right here, and you can be in, unfortunately, Fred Hill's backyard.
Fred Hill's backyard.
Hey, and he's like, even when the cops come, I tried to tell him, I said, dude, I know, because I ginseng, I hunt.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I know spots like, hey. And I showed them, they didn't even know where that holler was by that pond there.
Who didn't? The authorities?
The authorities, no, there's another.
Did they search back here?
Yeah. Yeah. They searched, they have to search was out here. Yep.
How long ago?
They did search that area, right? Oh, thank you, Alexandra. Thank you. I'm trying not to get real feisty today because, you know, when I talk about the Summer Wells case, I really get fucking pissed off. I really do. I mean, the scallywags came out. They made it all about money. They made it all about storytelling. You know, why? Why?
Was that?
That's been 6 months.
The way they all came, drove here, and then just parked and then looked?
They searched 2 different times. One time they parked down here, and the other time they walked in.
The weeks that followed Summer's disappearance only deepened the shadows. Don Wells would be accused of trying to lure a girl into his truck at Bay.
Now, I want you guys to listen to this story. This was a story about Don Wells coming upon a little 5-year-old girl that he says, you know, Summer went missing. He seen that little girl out there playing. She was too close to the road. The little girl's mama wasn't too happy. Let's put it that way. So.
How long ago was that?
That's been 6 months.
The way they all came, drove here, and then just parked and then looked?
They searched 2 different times. One time they parked down here, and the other time they walked in.
The weeks that followed Summer's disappearance only deepened the shadows. Don Wells would be accused of trying to lure a girl into his truck at Bays Mountain, a girl who happened to be the granddaughter of Roy Lynn Cotton Simpson.
Happened to be the granddaughter of Roy Lynn Cotton Simpson. Now, when Don told the story, he just talked about the grandfather being home and him banging on the door and stuff, right? Don tells this fantastical story about this little girl and the grandfather who was in the house.
So the next thing I freaking hear is this fucking little girl's mother fucking gets on fucking YouTube or Facebook or whatever, says I tried to coerce that little girl into my truck. That's the thanks I get for trying to make sure that little girl was safe.
The thanks I get for trying to make sure that little girl was safe. Were you trying to make it safe for her by coercing her into your truck? Because the little girl had to say something to mom to make mom go, WTF, right? Why would the mother lie about that? Right? I mean, and I don't know if this is true or not. This just comes to my brain. What if he felt that he could, I'm not saying this is factual, okay? So nobody needs to go out there and act like it is. What if he thought he could trade little girls? Just a thought.
Little girl's fucking bitch mother fucking spread the word that I was trying to coerce that little girl into my truck or some bullshit.
And say what a coincidence is. Where Cotton is right here. Where Cotton's feet was found right there. Where his body was found right here. Right here's right under there's where this next road the house sits right under this bank.
Fred knows a lot, doesn't he? He's telling us exactly where Fred was.
That Don tried to pick up that little girl.
Don tried to pick up that little girl.
Cotton's name would come to carry its own gravity in this story. He and a relative, Marvin, were both seen drifting in and out of Ben Hill on the day Summer disappeared.
Exactly, Sandy.
More than a year later, Cotton would be found dead at the back edge of his property. Bays Mountain terrain he knew better than most, threaded with caves, waterfalls, and drops steep enough to swallow the truth whole. Cotton wasn't always this way, we are told. He was once a well-rounded man, once a park employee and avid outdoorsman. He even worked as a janitor at a local school.
Now, from my understanding, yes, Cotton was caught up in with his addictions. But what was I going to say? Cotton's not here anymore to answer any questions. Also, Fred says he was following Cotton because Cotton had a substantial amount of money and they were keeping an eye on him. Cotton pulls into an area. Fred's got an excuse why Cotton pulled into the area he pulled into. Something about walking to a relative's house or something like that. You know, how would Fred know exactly where Cotton was going? And maybe Cotton went where he went to try to get away from the two individuals that were following him that knew he had a substantial amount of money. Oh, thank you, Alexandra, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay.
Later in life, he slid into meth production, violence, and a paranoia that even his own family couldn't navigate. Diagnosed as clinically insane, scarred by traumatic brain injuries, he cycled through state hospitals and jail cells, protective orders from his own sister, Brenda Wallen, just 5 days before he died. That order was dismissed the very day his body was found. No autopsy was made public, no press statement from authorities, only a quiet obituary. In the aftermath, the arrests began to fall like dominoes. Weeks later, Ricky Jr., Punkin's ex and Cotton's brother-in-law, was picked up on gun and drug charges. That same day, Dudley Ajan, Don's former co-worker and someone he had just gotten into it with the day before Summer went missing, was also arrested on near-identical charges. Not long after, Fred Hill himself was hit with drug charges and given...
And I'm sorry, I don't know how. I do not know how. He didn't know Fred. I don't know how he wouldn't have known of Fred when Fred was the manufacturer in the area. Probably not the only one that got caught. Right? Does that make sense? Kitten was headed to his sister. Not sure how many sisters he had, though. You mean Cotton, Lil Dev? Yes, Cotton was allegedly headed to his sister's. This here is the polygraph that Fred took where they questioned him about Cotton. What I want to remind you guys about this, the first time I seen it, it was inconclusive. It was inconclusive.
A polygraph exam. He insisted it wasn't about Summer, but about Cotton's death, and about something Cotton told him before the end.
Fred Hill was arrested yesterday. So, custody status day as of June 13th, 4 p.m. Eastern. So, he was booked in at 4:41 p.m. Eastern, Hawkins County Jail.
Now, we heard Fred tell Donna that he had basically went to a home that all the addicts hung out at, and he was taking the drugs, substances, to that home. And that there were 2 people that didn't show up there, right? That were supposed to be there. Okay? So, let me tell you guys something. I know people want to dog on Don Wells and say that he brought the substance of his choice to the hauler. But Fred was taking the substance of his choice to the area and obviously to a lot of people. I'm just saying.
That's his mugshot.
Today marks 2 years since a little girl in Tennessee vanished from her rural home. Her name is Summer Wells. The
2
sheriff
days later.
declined an interview in the case. He did email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future.
He expects an update on the case in the near future.
June 22nd.
Hey. Okay, cool.
They had me on suicide watch because of what I was telling you the other night.
Yeah, what happened?
They took and choked me out in a cell. They was trying to make some dope, get, I don't know, something that had moved out of the cell or something other. And about done me in. I think.
Why would someone choke out Fred because of substances? Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I want to hear that again.
Email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future.
He expects an update on the case in the near future.
Hey. Okay, cool.
They had me on suicide watch because of what I was telling you the other night.
Yeah, what happened?
They took and choked me out in a cell.
They took and choked him out in a cell.
Trying to move some dope.
They were trying to move some substances.
I don't know, something that had moved out of the cell or something other.
I don't know, something that had moved out of the cell or something. What did you have to do with that, Fred? What would you have to do with that, Fred? Why would anybody attack you over that? What did you have to do with that?
About done me in. I think they found.
You think they may have found her?
This was the most fucked up live I ever seen. I remember this. Hey, Lisa. Why would she know all those guys were together that day? Sounds like she may have been there also. Probably because she's from the area. And she could have been. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think the hauler didn't want. I don't know if anybody was saying anything about YouTube creators doing videos. I think that was the problem was with the protesters, with people going into the area and bothering, the residents of Beach Creek, because not everybody was a scallywag that lived in Beach Creek. There was some good people and still are good people that live in Beach Creek.
Because he wouldn't straight up answer me. When I asked him if she was in the cave.
In the cave?
Why would you ask law enforcement if Summer was in the cave? A cave that your ass never went to, but you were trying to get other people to be taken to that cave. Right, Fred? I remember.
You think, is that where you were thinking she was?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying she was off like a cliff.
She is underwater.
So the cave's underwater, Fred, right? I thought she got handed off at the barn. Didn't you agree with Reverend Donna on that? I don't freaking know.
So you think that they may have found her, really?
Because they wouldn't answer.
They
would just say that they found the cave.
They found the cave?
Ziggy wasn't welcome into the holler with open arms, Deb. She was not welcome into the holler with open arms. Only Don Wells and Candace and Fred and Laura welcomed her with open arms. From my understanding, Chad Arnold will not even have a discussion with her or anybody else.
Yeah.
So, okay, once again.
When I asked what's up,
Yeah.
they found the cave.
Yeah, that was weird that Brandon took JLR on that hike, but we got to see a lot.
So when you asked if they found Summer, they want to answer you?
No.
I don't believe that shit. I don't believe Fred Hill asked them if they found Summer. Like they were going to answer him.
They avoided the question?
Yes, so if I that they did. They're going to give you
Oh, are you going to take it?
not yet.
Are you going to?
Yes, I know my club.
You said yes? Okay, awesome. So, okay, when
And it didn't cost him $1,500. They gave it to him for free. How about that?
did you find, when,
That's what makes me think of him.
that's what makes you think they found her?
Yes.
This is the most disgusting shit, and I'm sorry that I'm even playing this right now.
To clear me from it.
Oh, to clear you? Wow.
If they were going to clear you from Cotton, why wouldn't they have asked you about Summer? I don't know. Oh, yeah, Kathy, the friend. She was another Candace victim, I'll call it. Okay? She was just a victim of Candace, in my opinion. Well, who are you talking about then? You'll have to jog my memory, because my brain has been not functioning the way it should be lately.
So can you tell me, When did you find out, or when did you, have you known this information for a long time and just kept it to yourself?
Well, no,
Huh?
I've not known it that long.
You haven't known it that long?
No.
Okay.
Man, this got out of jail not.
He just got out of jail?
Yeah, and he took something. And told me
Before he passed away?
well, they found him dead in the cave.
So you've known since at least February then, right?
Yeah.
Nobody has posted the lie detector results.
Not the final reading.
No, they haven't
That
been.
was just a pre-test or pre.
That was before the reading was even done. That's why it said no opinion. There was nothing about any type of deception anywhere.
Because that day she said she was wanting my address and stuff to send that copy that she done that day, but she done told me what it would say. She said, but
It's gonna say suspect because
That's freaking weird that, okay. So they gave Fred the answer to the lie detector test and said that they would mail it. Suspect, Fred Jr. Hill. Victim, Roy Cottonlin Simpson. So Kathy Gordon got Ziggy into the holler. Oh, yes, that one girl, yeah. Yeah. I remember now.
they're gonna look. That's just what it says on the form. Like
said
My-
I'd have to send
my guess.
$40.
I don't.
Suspect and person of interest are kind of different, Ziggy. Okay? A suspect is a little different than a person of interest.
No.
and request it to.
No
I have to see
opinion.
it.
What does no opinion result mean? No opinion, formally referred to as inconclusive, means that the investigator cannot determine whether or not the person was telling the truth. About 10% of lie detector tests result in no opinion.
I got all my stuff locked down, said I was under investigation over 2 murders.
Got all my stuff locked down. I was under the investigation for 2, not just Cotton, 2 different red rums. June 13, 2023, Fred was arrested. The 15th said update soon on Summer Wells. 22nd was when Fred called Ziggy, told police tell Fred they know about the cave, from what Fred says. The 23rd, Laura was arrested. Fred called Ziggy saying he thinks they must have found Summer. And on the 27th was the polygraph exam given to Fred about Cotton.
What? You're under investigation under 2 murders?
That's what they're trying to say.
What the
I
fuck?
don't know what they're even talking about.
They follow, you guys get in a vehicle and you follow him
Yeah. To the top of Mountain View.
to the top of Mountain View.
That's where I turned around, was at top of
And
Mountain
you guys were in the same vehicle, you and Marvin?
Yeah.
So you guys follow him to see, because you thought,
Because he kept acting worried about getting robbed. For some reason. That's what we was more concerned about at the time, because he kept letting on like with all that money on him and stuff, he was worried about getting robbed.
If that was the case, why didn't you make sure that Cotton was somewhere safe? I don't know. I got a lot to say about that, but I won't.
Get back home.
So did he know you guys were following him?
No.
Just being nosy?
Yeah.
And then you followed him to that.
Thanks, Deb.
Went to top of the mountain there at Mountain View and turned from Mountain View on. I'm trying to think what that big mountain or mountain trail or something that he pulled onto and back into the church.
Cotton Simpson.
Why would he have backed into the church unless he wanted to see what was behind him, right? If Cotton seen them behind him and he pulls into the church, I'd back in too. I'd back in to see what y'all are doing. I'm just saying.
And that's where his vehicle was found the next day and stuff.
Cotton, he claimed, said Summer was underwater in a cave behind a waterfall. Search teams combed similar terrain, but nothing conclusive ever surfaced. The network of names around Cotton's death was tight and volatile.
It starts with Jason Arnold.
Yes.
And then Mindy Arnold. And then Peggy Hundley. And then it ends up with Brenda Simpson. And then Martha Simpson, the mom. And then it ends up with Roy Simpson. And then it ends up with Crawford's.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps this van. It moves through all of them. And I'm kind of
So
thinking
they all definitely know each other then.
they all know each
sharing
other.
Back in the day, Chad Arnold's brother, Jason Arnold, was infamous for armed abductions tied to drug debts and had
Now, you guys remember this, right? And I've showed this on my channel before. He was found, infamous as Michelle calls it, for armed abductions tied to drug debts. But he wasn't alive.
targeted people connected to George Simpson and Dudley's uncle. Jason himself would become another
Dudley's
unexplained death.
uncle.
Pete Clark, living near both the Wallens and Cotton on Bays Mountain, once questioned in Summers' case, now gone. Another.
Okay, so Charles James Allen Clark was 57 of Rogersville, and he passed away. They called him Pete, okay? They called him Pete. Pete is survived by his son, Brandon Clark, his grandchildren, Braden, Bryson, Brody, and Briley, his brothers, Craig and Bernice Clark, Stacy R. Clark, Uncle Harold Clark, plenty of nieces, nephews, grandchildren, great-grand, there was a bunch of them. He actually, if I remember right, it shows that he was also a resident of Indiana.
Name on the list of sudden deaths. Pete also lived at the back of Light Hollow with his partner, Glenda, Cotton Simpson's ex-wife and now Brandon's stepmom. Glenda and her brother live at the dead end of Light Hollow, and their dad built the church in the back of the woods. It was said that Glenda and Pete had become obsessed with the Summer Wells case, even bringing Pete, who was questioned by TBI, often to tears when speaking about it.
Right over here is a pond, and right across this is where they live, dude.
Oh, they live right over there.
Yeah, like there's.
Hi.
It's a different house. I remember you from YouTube.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm looking for Summer.
Yes.
Looking for Summer. Looking like I just came down this road because I saw it like a mile away from their road.
Yeah, yeah. And you can cross this mountain right here, and you can be in unfortunately, Fred Hill's backyard.
Fred Hill's backyard.
Yeah, my stepmom.
Stepmom. Yeah, she said she saw me on YouTube.
Yeah, my mom, even me, like, you know what I mean? That one tried. I wasn't living right here, but I come and visit my stepmom.
What was she saying about it? Like,
Blowing away all of us, really.
you know how many people care for Summer out there?
Dude, hey, look, my mom is obsessed with watching this shit on YouTube and everything, and it makes me cry.
And you guys are local.
Yeah, hey, nobody.
A lot of the locals did really like to watch the stuff on YouTube and keep up with it. Absolutely. They also came out and gave us an idea of what it was like in the holler. I still question all of it. I still question all of it. Could Summer let me say this. I do recommend going over and watching White Boy and Benny, giving an idea of the Wells and their shenanigans and all that other stuff. It'll give you an idea of exactly how they are. I mean, we've seen many of people that befriended the Wells that turned on them. Me personally, I could never befriend those people. Just them showing their characters. They're just not people that I would associate myself with. But like I said previously, how do we know that it wasn't known what was transpiring that day? How do we know that an individual knew Candace was leaving the hill? If she did go to the gas station, how do we know that there wasn't a plan to meet at this gas station for some reason? And Candace gets there, she goes in the bathroom, she's trying to contact these people, they're ghosting her, and she realizes then something's not right. Something's not right. If you knew your daughter was going to be taken, would you want to be there? Would you want to be there? Or would you want to leave? That way you didn't know exactly who got it, right? I think, well, we know Tim Mullins pulls a lot of strings. And I do agree there's people who have came out and said things that, I don't want to say who said, what good does that do anybody? What good does that do anybody? For real. For real, for real. Anyhow, I've been on here 2.5 hours. I'm going to get off here. We will do a part 2. We will pick this up tomorrow and do a part 2 on it. I mean, there's just a lot of things to think about. A lot of things to think about. Everybody in that area is still a person of interest. Law enforcement has not come out and said, you're not a person of interest. As close as Pruitt has got is saying to Andy, your name hasn't been mentioned yet. A lot of people think that, Sherry, that Candace knows what happened. I can guarantee you that, well, I can't guarantee anything. I can guarantee I'm getting my butt off here. I am going to try to start shortening my lives a little bit. Being on so long has been a lot on me the last couple days. But I do want to finish going over this video. We'll do a part 2 tomorrow. Please go check out Killer Looks and send him prayers and etc., etc. I don't think anybody controls Candace, if you want my opinion on that. I don't think anybody has to control Candace. She knows exactly what she's doing. She always has known what she was doing. For real. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. For sure. For sure. But we'll get into the rest tomorrow. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys. You know, there's just so many questions that we just have to talk about and ask. We may not ever get the answers, right? But it's got to be an open conversation. It really does. And sorry I got feisty with anybody today. I've just been a real bitch the last couple days for some reason. I don't know. I just have. So I apologize. I apologize to anybody that I got bitchy with. For real. For real, for real. Thank you, Nobody Knows. Thank you, guys. We will definitely do the part 2 tomorrow. And as always, you know, I got too much to say, for real. But thank you, guys. Like I said, Killer Looks' link is in my description. Also, thank you, Super Sensible. Also, I figured out how not to have 2 and 3 lives going at one time. So that's a blessing in itself. So for real. All right. Pray for Summer. Pray for Michael. Pray for all of the missing children. Peace out, you guys. I will see you tomorrow for part 2. Thank you so much.